All right, folks, we got another scan tool to look at today. This one's by OTOFIX. It's the OTOFIX D1 Lite. In fact, OTOFIX is owned by Autel. It runs Autel software, and it's really good. So let's get into it and check it out. Comes in a standard blow mold case, plastic latches. Comes with a greeting here, comes with a packing list and a quick start guide. However, what I found odd on this packing list is it shows the tablet itself, the charging brick, the packing list, quick reference guide, the VCI, which is up there, I'll show you in a second, the carrying case, and a Type-C USB cable. It does not mention anything about a USB hub that it came with, and it's even Lenovo branded. If you can see that, it's Lenovo branded, and then it comes with the charging brick, and then it comes with the Type A to Type C charging cable. However, if you take the USB hub and plug that in there, now you've got Type C to Type C. Anyway, what's odd is this setup is not shown on the packing list. However, I have seen this setup in various pictures of this kit on the internet. So this isn't the only one that came like this. But either way, it works fine. And honestly, having an extra USB hub isn't the end of the world anyway. There, of course, is the charging brick in the bag there. It's got the North America. Got the North American plug on it. And you've got the wireless VCI, which this VCI did need a firmware update. And in order to do the firmware update, I'll show you in the tablet, but you connect the cable between the tablet and the VCI. There is a USB port on the end of this VCI, and that is either for reflashing firmware to the VCI, or you can connect the cord from here to the tablet and run a wired connection instead of a wireless vehicle connection. And if you can see in the camera, when I press the button, they've got a built-in flashlight right in the end of the at the DLC port there. So when you're underneath the dash, you can hit that button and you can find the port under the vehicle dash pretty easily. So the tablet itself is pretty darn cool. Let's get this up here. This thing is this is very similar to the Autel 808 series. And for a comparison, let me grab an 808. Okay, so there's the OTOFIX D1 Lite versus the Autel 808. Essentially, it's the same size screen, but if you'll notice when I tip them up, the D1 Lite is extremely thin compared to an 808. Fix this upside down. Okay, so for comparison side by side, here's the OTOFIX D1 Lite, and here's the Autel 808 series. You can see the OTOFIX is indeed running the Autel software. You know, it looks just like on this screen here. They're basically the exact same size screen between the two devices. This one is just a tad higher resolution, probably not even measurable, but it is a tad higher resolution. But the tablet itself, if I tip this up and you look in the camera, it's pretty thin this way, versus the 808 is pretty thick. The 808 has this big rubber padding on the side, and this is a much thinner, lighter, compact tablet. It's basically just a tablet versus a scan tool, which, depending which camp you're in, you may prefer a lighter, overall lighter device than this big bulky device. However, maybe, you know, in a daily professional setting in a shop, maybe the big bulkier one is a better for longevity. But for personal use, this one is a little bit better. I personally am really liking this smaller form factor. It's pretty good. We'll look at the back here. So of course the 808 has a kickstand with the VLC holder, and on the back of the D1, there's this one does have a camera, and the 808 does not have a camera. But there's no kickstand on the back here. Let's check out the specs on this thing, and then we'll take it outside and hook it up to the truck. All right, I'll put these specs up on screen for you to see a little easier. The AutoFix D1 Lite is compatible with CAN FD and DOIP protocols. It's compatible with Fiat Chrysler Automobile's Secure Gateway AutoAuth. It's got a 4-core processor. It's an operating system with Android 9, which is a tad older than the newest version of the Autel 808, but it's light years newer than the older version of the Autel 808. So this is kind of between the old 808s and the new 808s as far as operating system. It has 2 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabits of storage. It's a 7-inch display screen like the 808, but it's a 1280 by 800 LCD, and I can't remember the 808, but I think it is a tad less resolution. The internal battery is 5,800 milliamp hour. It's an 8 megapixel rear camera, which the 808 does not have at all. Wi-Fi 5. It's got 2.4 and 5.0 gigahertz. It's got 2 USB ports, which I'll show you. One of them is on-the-go Type-C, and the other one is a host Type-C, a wireless VCI connector instead of a corded connection to the vehicle. And this is an OBDII scan tool. It is designed to work on any vehicle sold in the United States from 1996 and beyond. It's still the current legal standard today, as of April of 2023. So to show you the differences in connection here, so you can see on the 808 you had a power button, a USB-A, an HDMI, a memory card slot, and mini USB. It's the oldest of the smaller USB ports. And on the D1 Lite, there's a rubber thing here you can hook with your fingernail and open that up. And in there is a memory card slot, a standard USB-C for data connection, and a USB-C on-the-go connection. So 2 USB-C ports on there. But this thing is really good. I'm not sure why they call it Lite. I have an idea why, but this thing is full bidirectional control and has full resets and full relearn capabilities. I don't see anything missing on this that I don't have on my Autel 908 or on any of my other 808s. This thing, on all the vehicles that I've plugged it into or that I have access to, this thing does everything all my other scan tools do. They make the AutoFix in like 3 or 4 different models. There's the D1 Lite and the D1, which are both the same physical dimension. And I believe at one point there was probably a reason for that between the D1 and the D1 Lite, because back before July 1st of last summer, 2022, some 808s, Autel 808s, had full bidirectional control and some didn't. And they came out with a major update and gave all the 808s full bidirectional control, which several other scan tool manufacturers then went along with and made their scan tools full bidirectional control. So previous to the July 1st, 2022 update, there was probably a reason to have a D1 Lite and a D1 non-Lite, but now it's the same thing. That's how I see it. And then they do make it in a D1 Pro and a D1 Max or a D1 Ultra, something like that. And those are a bigger 10-inch tablet with more RAM and a faster processor and larger memory inside. So I'll put this up on screen so you can see it better. I had a few questions for the people at AutoFix, and here's what I asked them. I said, how long is the free update period? This AutoFix, which is running Autel scan tool software, has a 2-year free update for the customer. Now, I have not found an Autel scan tool that has 2-year free updates. Usually they're all just 1 year across the board. So you're getting twice the updates than if you were to buy an Autel branded scan tool. So how much do the annual updates cost after the free update period has ended? They're $119 a year. So even when they do expire, the free updates expire, the annual updates are cheaper than the Autel updates, and it's the same Autel software. Does the D1 continue to operate at its full capacity at the current software level if the customer decides to not update the tool after the free update period has ended? And it says all features will continue to work as they did during the free update period. How long is the manufacturer's warranty? It's 1 year. Does AutoFix provide customer service and technical assistance directly to the end user? What is the best way to contact the customer service tech department? Email address, phone number. And they said, yes, specialists are available via phone, email, and chat for U.S. and Canada. The contact info is, and they list it there. You can see it on the screen. And, of course, there's a phone number and an email address. And then lastly, how does the D1 compare to the Autel line of scan tools? Obviously, the D1 is smaller and lighter than the Autel 808 series of tools, but how does the D1 software compare to the 808 series? It says the AutoFix is the most cost-effective tool in the Autel scanner series, with many features but at a lower price. There is not much difference in terms of software, but the D1 Lite has the advantage in terms of hardware. And then I did have another question for him, which I put on its own sheet here. I'll put it up on the screen again so you can see it. I wanted to know a little bit about the Autel and AutoFix, the company background. I asked him, is AutoFix a new brand from Autel? Was AutoFix originally intended for sale in the European market? I first heard of AutoFix about a year ago, but for some reason they were not really marketed for sale here in the USA. I'm just wondering what the history of the AutoFix brand is so I can let my viewers know a little bit about the company. And their answer was, AutoFix was launched for sale in 2021, primarily in Europe and North America. At that time, offline sales performed quite well, which is why we are now focusing on expanding into the online market to reach customers all over the world in the future. So, like I said, I have seen them in the past, but I didn't know much about them until recently. Anyway, now that I've got all that out of the way, I wanted to show one last thing. This particular device is the OTOFIX D1 Lite battery tester, and it's to be used in conjunction with your scan tool. In fact, I'll show you on the scan tool. Right here, this battery tester app is what you use to run this smart battery tester. Now, just to be clear, this does not come with the scan tool. This is a separate extra purchase. And I'm going to make a separate video about this device. So today's video is only about the D1 Lite scan tool. However, shortly after that video comes out, there'll be a video about this device, and we'll go into more detail. But that's enough from inside the shop. Let's take it out to the truck and hook it up, and we'll take a look at the scan tool. It'll be right now. And here we are. It's actually been a day or two, but it was a split second for you guys. All right, we're going to make this quick. This video is already getting to be long enough. I've already gone through Autel scan tool software multiple times on my channel. So we're not going to, the software is exactly the same. It's just different hardware this time. I've got the VCI connector plugged into underneath the dash. We'll go into diagnostics here. We'll show you how this thing works. And right now, I didn't even have to select anything. It just knows that I'm connected to this truck. And you can just hit the blue circle. That's one thing nice about the newest software. As soon as you plug in the VCI connector, it just automatically goes in and finds the vehicle, if possible. It probably can't find every vehicle, automatically decode it. But the majority of the vehicles, you plug that thing in, and as soon as you hit the service function, bam, it says, is this the vehicle? And you hit the one button that says yes, and you're in. So that's pretty nice. Automatic transfer case, 4-button selectable, dual zone manual, up level radio, under 8600, rear drum brake. That's the vehicle. I've already showed you guys, the auto scans and all that stuff, but just to show you, to prove to you that the level of scan tool this is, I'm going to go into diagnosis. I'm going to go into control unit, and I have found on the lower end bidirectional control scan tools on this vehicle, and this will vary from make and model to make and model. There's two things that I know for sure that only the higher end bidirectional scan tools have for this vehicle versus the lower end bidirectional scan tools for this vehicle. And one of them is, we can go into powertrain, we'll go into special functions, and this one has the, fuel composition reset. The cheaper bidirectional control scan tools do not have that function. And then another one is going to be If we go into the body control module, no, that's not it. If we go into the passenger presence system and go into special functions to re-zero the seat weight sensor in the passenger seat, again, only the upper level bidirectional scan tools have that functionality for this vehicle. Now, those two functions may not even be on your vehicle. Like I said, every vehicle you plug your scan tool into is going to have different options based on the manufacturer, make, and model. I don't want to get too in depth here, but a lot of people have this misconception that it's the scan tool that does all this stuff. Well, the scan tool is only showing you features and functions that the automotive manufacturer has programmed into the vehicle's computer. The scan tool isn't doing anything. It's just sending the request of a function that is given to us by the software engineers at the manufacturer. In this case, it would be GM. The GM software people already wrote all of these features and functions into the computer. The scan tool is just showing them to us. So if there's a feature and function on here that you see on my GMC truck and you plug it into a Toyota RAV4 and you're going, hey, where's the fuel alcohol composition reset? Well, that vehicle probably doesn't have that programmed into it because that vehicle probably has a sensor on it, and the GMs didn't back in that era. Anyway, I don't want to get too off topic here, but we're going to go and let's look at some live data. It's going to look like any other live data stream that I've shown on my channel from the last 5 or 6 Autel scan tool videos that I've made. Let's go to Engine 1 live data. So there it is. You got all the different PIDs, data PIDs. So for example, let's just pick one here. We'll do engine speed because that's at the top and it's at the easiest. We'll go show selected. And then down here, we can do a graph. And if I rev it up, you can see now I can zoom in on this graph. Well, first of all, I can make it full screen, and then I can zoom in on the graph, give you more resolution. So that shows you the live data, freeze frame, clear data. You can record all this, save it as a file, play it back later. It's pretty good. Let's go to engine live data 2. Now again, the data PIDs you see on here are not necessarily the data PIDs that you're going to see on your vehicle. I mentioned it in one of my other videos. A guy complained to me that I scrolled through these too quickly. He wanted to see the data PIDs. Well, unless you're plugged into a 2006 GMC pickup, they're all going to be different. So what shows on my vehicle is irrelevant to your vehicle. But this AutoFix scan tool, I'm telling you what, this thing is 100% Autel software, and I've said it before, Autel is my favorite scan tool, and I'm sure there will be others that can say, Snap-on is better. Well, sure it is. It's also, 5 to 10 times the price. For your average guy, in my opinion, Autel's scan tool software is about the best you can get. So, and then to buy it through the AutoFix brand, you're saving money on the hardware. You're getting twice the free update period from 1 year to 2 years. Autel is 1 year. AutoFix is 2 years. And then when you do have to buy the updates themselves are even cheaper. So, and plus it's this nice little light form factor, very light, and it's not heavy and bulky. The thing is, it's basically a full bidirectional Autel 808 scan tool, but in the slimmed down version. And by slim, I don't mean software slimmed down. I just mean physically slimmed down. So this thing's really good. If you're in the market for a scan tool at the moment, this one is hard to beat. At one time, I was always telling people that there was a different scan tool that was kind of the sweet spot for price versus functionality. But this one, in my opinion, now has taken that spot. The overall functionality of this scan tool versus the price really makes it hard to beat. If you're in the market for a scan tool, seriously check this one out. It's really good. All right, guys, that's all I have for now. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.